Just got back from Transformers 1 and it was fantastic. So let's get into this discussion.
Transformers reviews, tech and the news, whatever else I use as a muse. Hit subscribe, I appreciate the views, influences interest on YouTube.
I'll be the first to admit that I definitely was one of the people that was like, we don't want this shit. So I gotta take it back. I probably scored it a 9 out of 10. Maybe a 10 out of 10. I don't know. I want to leave some room, but I say 9 out of 10 because it was probably the best piece of Transformers lore I've seen in the last 40 years. I can say. And just the story is exactly what I wanted. When it first advertised, I was a little but this story straight out IDW, like, and I don't know how faithful it is, but I do know because I've read some of it, and I have the volumes. Anybody that has the volumes, the IDW volumes, the thick ones, know that they're pieced together. They're stories that are pieced together. And I have volume 1, 2, and 3. So, and I've only read all of 1, which have a bunch of different stories for different characters, and some of 2. So I haven't gotten to 3 yet. But like I said, they're all different types of stories. Like they're geared towards a specific robot. So I haven't gotten the whole story. I would like to get the whole story, but I can say when I left this theater, I went to Walmart to buy toys. That's always I didn't find anything, of course, because it's Walmart. Of course I did. But that's always an indication of how good something is to me, that I was in right away. Like I seen the toys a million times before I went to see this movie, and I just was like, nah, not for me. I seen them advertised, pre-order, all that stuff, not for me. I seen the 3-0, I was like, not for me. After leaving this theater, I'm looking at 3-0 stuff. I'm looking, and I don't even buy Transformers that don't transform. Really, nothing against it, because 3-0 makes some great stuff. But I just say that as a testimony of this film. I know I'm late because I couldn't get right away. Usually, I only go to movies in IMAX or Dolby Vision, or Dolby. What is it? Dolby? Yeah, Dolby or IMAX. One of the theaters around here has Dolby and IMAX. So I only go see movies in one of those formats because the screen is so big. I don't want it to be too spoilery. That's why I haven't gotten into like the story, the nitty gritty, but just, you know, some of the story, them being friends in the beginning is Transformers 1. It's like the origin story, and it's great. It's a great origin story. Even some of the surprises, like I said, I'm not going to try to, I know most people probably seen it by now, but some of the surprises, and not even surprises, because I was kind of looking forward to stuff and it happened. that was one of the things that was great. Like I was waiting for certain things to happen, and I'm like, I wonder if this is going to happen. And it did. It did. And the 2 credit scenes, you know, of course, I'm hoping they have a second one. They set it up to have a second one. I hope they do the second, third, fourth. I wish they would do it all. I mean, it's perfect. It's perfect as a movie. And even though I gave it a 9, it's perfect as a Transformers origin story to me. Because all the elements was there. Everything was there. The storyline. The thing that I like, or that surprised me the most, was the fact that it was more adult than I thought it was going to be. It did have some kiddie stuff in it. It did have some jokes and things like that. But I don't want it to be super serious, like the whole thing. Like the jokes that were in it seemed appropriate, and they were funny. So it was a good time. And like I said, it was more adult than I thought it was going to be from the previews. The previews really make it look kiddie, and it's not really. After that first act, I think, shout out to Eric B. He said this in the live stream that I was on in the Realm of Collectors. Do You Transform? Check that out. But yeah, he said that. He said after you get past the first act, I think he said it like, I don't know exactly how he said it, but he was like, there's some themes, there's some adult themes, it's more adult, and it's the truth. Like the first act, they had a lot of, you know, comedic stuff. Bumblebee was funny, but it was funny. Like to me, it was a combination of the Pixar, DreamWorks, that stuff. And I didn't know Michael Bay produced this or had a hand in producing it, and Steven Spielberg. So that was surprising when I saw at the end. I'm glad they didn't lead with that. I don't know if they ever led with it, because I don't know. I haven't watched a lot of, I didn't even watch a lot of trailers, which I'm gonna start doing that, because I only watched the first trailer, and I tapped out because I'm like, I'm not getting my hopes up. This gonna be trash. And pleasantly surprised that it was not trash. Far from trash. So I'm definitely putting the pre-order in for the Steelbook. And yeah, physical media for those out there that don't do physical media anymore. I kind of wanted some more characters, but they gave you that in a kind of subtle way. There was times when I was like, oh look, that's such and such, or that's Jazz, or that's I'm trying to keep it spoiler free, but you probably know. But yeah, I'm like, oh, that's such and such, that's him, that's who, and they look like it. So the designs, even when I saw the toys, the designs weren't bad to me. I just wasn't in on another type of line, like another line that looked differently. I tapped out of the whole thing. So yeah, so I'm back, I guess. I'm back, not tapped out. I'm tapped in now. I think the pace was great. The one negative that I had, and I may be alone in this, I don't know, but some of the voice acting I did not like, mainly Chris Hemsworth. Nothing against him. I just couldn't. I don't know. I don't know what it was about it that kind of. It wasn't bad though. Like I could get through it. It wasn't. I mean, I gave it a 9, so of course it wasn't a terrible thing. It was sometimes that I just couldn't hear him. I'm much rather. I understand why they got stars, because they needed faces to promote it. That's what I believe. I mean, I think that's why animated movies do that, because they kind of want the big name faces to go on a press junket and promote it, and everybody will pay attention and stuff like that. But I think Scarlett Johansson did great. It took me a little minute to get out the Marvel thing, even though Chris Hemsworth's voice was different. Like he kind of changed it, but you can still tell it was him. So that's the thing that I didn't like. But surprisingly, I liked him later on. I don't want to spoil it, but I think their voices changed again. It sounded better to me. But yeah, that's really the only negative that I had. I was in the movie theater, just a little movie theater experience. I was in the movie theater, and I went by myself after work, and I know somebody on the board said they tricked their wife into going because she thought it was live action. She thought Chris Hemsworth was in it. I thought that was funny, but my lady doesn't really like animated stuff like that. So I just went after work, and I sat. I was hoping nobody sat next to me. 3 little kids come in, and even though I was excited, I was glad to see like a dad. I assume it's a dad or uncle. It was a man that brought 3 little kids. So I assume somebody in their family, and he sat right next to me. And at first I'm dreading it. One of my biggest pet peeves is people talking in the movies on a phone. It was a couple next to me that was kind of on a phone, so I was like, oh damn, that's why I go to IMAX. One of the reasons I go to IMAX too is because it's loud and you can't hear nobody. Even when they talking, you can't hear. You damn near gotta yell to talk to somebody next to you. So that's the other reason for going to IMAX. But the little kid it was one little kid, he fell asleep. The one not next to me, he was over there, he was curled up, knocked out. But the one next to me, it was cool because there was some scenes, and he was like, wow. Like I just thought it was dope that it's introducing a good Transformers story, good lore to younger kids. So this is cool that he looked so young. He might have been 6, so that means he probably didn't see the Bayformers. And even though this, I guess, technically is a Bayformer, but yeah, he didn't see the live action Bayformers, or he was very young. So this, I believe, he could remember, and I think this is a good start for the young lad. If it is a start, who do I know? Maybe the dad's a big Transformers fan and lets them watch the old cartoon or whatever. But yeah, it was a great time, and I'm definitely want to go see it again, but I'm not because I can't take the movies without IMAX again. IMAX, it only stays a week in IMAX because there's other movies that always come out weekly, so they always put the biggest new action movie into the IMAX and Adobe. Yeah, but that's about it. If you haven't seen it, go see it. Definitely recommend it. That's a no-brainer. And if you have seen it, leave me a comment. Let me know what's your favorite part of the movie. So just know I'm asking people to leave what their favorite part of the movie is. Don't go down there if you haven't seen it, because they're gonna spoil it for you. All right, I'm out.
You know, life ain't no, life ain't no, life ain't no. As long as you alive, you can give another try and take it real high if you want.